Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. And just 1 second, I'm doing the live. Share my screen also. Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All... Okay, I think this will work. Yeah, so today we're reading from 44. We're in the 4th canto, 6th chapter, 44 to end of the chapter. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So text number 44 in the 4th canto, chapter 6. My dear Lord, your Lordship has introduced the system of sacrifices through the agency of Daksha, and thus one may derive the benefits of religious activities and economic development. Under your regulative principles, the institution of the 4 varnas and ashramas is respected. The Brahmanas therefore vow to follow this system strictly. Text 45. O most auspicious Lord, you have ordained the heavenly planets, the spiritual Vaikuntha planets, and the impersonal Brahman sphere as the respective destinations of the performance of auspicious activities. Similarly, for others who are miscreants, you have destined different kinds of hells which are horrible and ghastly. Yet, sometimes it is found that their destinations are just the opposite. It is very difficult to ascertain the cause of this. My dear Lord, text 46. My dear Lord, devotees who have fully dedicated their lives unto your lotus feet certainly observe your presence as Paramatma in each and every being, and as such, they do not differentiate between one living being and another. Such persons treat all living entities equally. They never become overwhelmed by anger like animals who can see nothing without differentiation. Text 47. Persons who observe everything with differentiation or simply attached to fruitive activities, who are mean minded, who are always pained to see the flourishing condition of others, and who thus give distress to them by uttering harsh and piercing words, have already been killed by Providence. Thus, there is no need for them to be killed again by an exalted personality like you. Text 48. My dear Lord, if in some places materialists were already bewildered by the insurmountable illusory energy of the Supreme Godhead, sometimes commit offenses, a saintly person with compassion does not take this seriously, knowing that they commit offenses because they are overpowered by the illusory energy. He does not show his prowess to counteract them. Text 49. My dear Lord, you are never bewildered by the formidable influence of the illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, you are omniscient and should be merciful and compassionate toward those who are bewildered by the same illusory energy and very much attached to fruitive activities. Text 50. My dear Lord Shiva, you are a shareholder of a portion of the sacrifice and you are the giver of the result. The bad trees did not deliver your share and therefore you destroyed everything and the sacrifice remains unfinished. Now you can do the needful and take your rightful share. Text 51. My dear Lord, by your mercy, the performer of the sacrifice, King Daksha, may get back his life. Bhaga may get back his eyes, Bhrigu his mustache, and Pusha his teeth. Text 52. O Lord Shiva, may the demigods And the priests whose limbs have been broken by your soldiers recover from the injuries by your grace. Text 53. O destroyer of the sacrifice, please take your portion of the sacrifice, and let the sacrifice be completed by your grace. That's in the sixth chapter of fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah. Was there? Sri Krishna Prabhuji, I think it's your turn today, right? Are you on the call, Prabhu, Sri Krishna Prabhu? I don't think so. Let us see. So let me see. Let us wait for 2 minutes. I'll call him to see if he can join. Okay. I couldn't get hold of them. Get hold of Sri Krishna Prabhu. Okay, let me share whatever I can in this section, and then we can go from there. Let me offer brief prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chekshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vundam Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So let me share my screen also. Oh, Prabhuji is calling 1 minute. Yeah. So Prabhuji called back, but he cannot do it. So let us go through. So today's section we're starting from 44 verse. So brief context. I'm not turning on video because I didn't prepare myself for the call. So that's why. So please bear with me. Hopefully you can pay attention to the audio. So basically with the section where we are in, the chapter itself is called Brahma satisfies Lord Shiva. As you know the whole pastime, after Lord Shiva's followers destroyed whole thing, so many things in sacrifice, injured the devatas, injured some of the munis, and killed Daksha. Finally, Lord Brahma came along with several demigods to Lord Shiva's planet, Kailash mountain. They came there. And the beginning of this chapter, we heard beautiful, beautiful material opulences. How Kailash Hill was so opulent, like that we heard. Of course, before that, Lord Brahma chastised the demigods and then told them, Lord Shiva is so powerful. How can you offend him? Offending Vaishnava will destroy everything. So let's go. Let's go and ask him for forgiveness, like that. He chastised them. And then he guided them as a leader for the demigods. And then after that, we heard about beautiful descriptions of Kailash Hill and the region where Lord Shiva is there. And we heard the description where Lord Shiva is sitting on a big banyan tree And interesting contrast I was thinking at that time was there are so many material opulences described, and in that context, how demigods and demigods' wives they enjoy their different pastimes like that is described in that place. But immediate contrast is under the banyan tree. It's very peaceful, and a lot of shade is there, and it was conducive for devotees to practice meditation like that is described. So it's interesting when we find a beautiful atmosphere around us, beautiful environment around us, we could do two things. One is we can be in the enjoyment mode to how can I enjoy this environment like that. Second option is how can I utilize this to perform devotion service nicely. So that's the contrast we can see. So between devotees who have service attitude and non-devotees who do not have the service attitude yet, who have enjoyment attitude. That's one contrast we saw in the previous section. Then, after Lord Shiva was being sitting there, and it described Lord Shiva was surrounded by great devotees, Kumaras, Kuvera, and Narada Muni, and different other sages also, like that we heard. And then we heard Lord Brahma personally offered respect to Lord Shiva. And then Lord Shiva also received him properly. That's what we heard in the last couple of verses. Then Brahma started to glorify Lord Shiva. So this is the last section of the chapter. Essentially, you can say uh, there are two broad sections. One is Lord Brahma glorifying Lord Shiva as if like Shaivites do. That means those who worship Lord Shiva as all in all. In that mood, Lord Brahma glorified Lord Shiva. Number one section. Number two section, he finally requests him, can you please take care of whatever damage is done? Can you please forgive them and restore them to their original position? Like that, in broad summary. Those are two broad sections today. Glorification of Lord Shiva and then requesting him for recovering everything that got damaged at the place of sacrifice so that sacrifice can continue again like that. So that Daksha is revived again and sacrifice can continue again. That is the two broad sections. So actually, there's another section in between that glorifies Lord Shiva as a sadhu and being compassionate like that. So we'll go through that section. So the actually 42, the two verses before, that's where Brahma started talking yesterday in yesterday's session. He says how he glorifies Lord Shiva as the controller of the material manifestation. So if you notice, several of these verses are glorifying Lord Shiva as Gunavatara, and in one sense, Lord Shiva is the Supreme Lord himself also. So, as a representative of the Supreme Lord is not a wrong glorification in one sense. But in another sense, we need to understand the context in which Lord Brahma is glorifying Lord Shiva. And then, don't see, so Lord Shiva is the source for Krishna also. Somebody might come to that conclusion. But when we're reading this section, we need to take help from our acharyas because shastras are properly understood with the guidance of guru and sadhu. And guru and sadhus told us already established. Actually, Jiva Goswami goes to great length to establish this point that in the first canto, third chapter, we heard the verse Ete Chamsa Kalapunsho Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. That verse is called Paribhasha Sutra of the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. So, if something is confusing somewhere in the whole text, we refer to is it aligned with the Paribhasha Sutra or not? If it's aligned, we accept the meaning as it comes directly. If it's not aligned, then we understand how it can be aligned like that. That is how Prabhupada clearly mentions in this section that Lord Shiva is being glorified like Supreme Lord. That doesn't mean he is the Supreme Lord himself. He is the absolute truth himself like that. Of course, Lord Shiva is such a great personality. He is not a jiva, that we know. So that is one aspect I wanted to highlight before we get into this section. So that's how he started. So today's section 44 verse. Let's go. So 44 verse is saying, actually you introduced this sacrifices through the agency of Daksha, because Daksha is a Prajapati, is actually setting an example for others to do sacrifices in this age, like that. So that way, everybody can understand. You don't get economic development or artha without doing dharma. You need to do dharma to satisfy the demigods. Then only you can get artha. Artha means something valuable. And then that is so, because of your regulatory principles, people will respect the four varnas and four ashmas. So that's why Brahmanas follow the system that you wanted very strictly, like that it says. So now in the purport, Sri Prabhupada talks about how we should follow uh, the Varna and Ashma system. That means do our duties that we have, whether we're a family person, whether we are brahmachari, whether we're a vanaprastha or sannyasi, we should do our duties properly, so that way we can satisfy the Lord. So, purpose of doing duties is not only to satisfy our family members, not only to satisfy our society, not only to take care of, help our society members, but ultimately to satisfy Supreme Lord Creation, Krishna. So that is the important point Prabhupada highlights. In fact, that is a point highlighted in many places in Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita also. So basically, that is the underlying point, as devotees also capture it. What does it mean for us then? To satisfy Krishna doing it means, that means I don't please my children, I don't please my wife, I don't please my husband. Not that, this is not the point. The point is, we need to start seeing our wife, our husband, our family members, our society members in ISKCON, our the wider community members beyond ISKCON, as in relation to Lord Krishna. When we see them like that, then we can actually serve them, and with the understanding that Krishna has given me this service, Krishna has given me the relationships in this life, so let me serve them. So Supreme Lord Krishna is pleased, like that. So that is about text 44, emphasizing the principle of Varnashma Dharma and how we need to please Krishna. So now going to text 45. Text 45, Lord Brahma is glorifying, saying that you ordained heavenly planets, Vaikuntha planets, and the impersonal Brahma sphere as destination for people doing different kinds of auspicious activities. Basically, the higher planets are meant for people who are doing higher activities, auspicious activities, like that is describing. And he's saying you designated different positions for different living entities based on the activities they do. Then he's saying, similarly, you also created different kinds of hells which are horrible and ghastly. For whom? Those who don't do auspicious activities, who do inauspicious activities, or those who do capricious activities, or those who do activities that are against the regulations in scriptures, like that. So, for somebody, it may be difficult to ascertain. Oh, some places are so nice and having a lot of luxuries to enjoy. Some places are so horrible and ghastly. How come that is so? That is not very clear for some people is talking about. Now, uh, actually, indirectly, Acharya describe uh, when he's talking about Varnashma system, he's saying um, that you established the Varnashma system, you wanted Daksha to carry on Varnashma system as an example for others, but now that Daksha is killed by your followers, then Dharma will not proceed further, so it will cause misfortune in the world. So that's what is indirectly indicating, basically. Yeah, that's what our acharyas indicate. Now, this is an important verse for us to read today, 45. Yeah, purport also. Now, through this is saying See, somebody doing auspicious activity, we call them as pious people usually. So those pious people are meant to go to higher planets and enjoy at the very least. Then somebody may get the doubt, why should pious Daksha die like this? And whereas impious Ajamila can get liberation. So, so now Brahma clarifies in the next verse onwards because it appears in this verse is blaming him. Why did the pious Daksha he gets punished like this? So now he actually says your punishment is not due to your anger, but that is also your punishment of Daksha is also your mercy. That is where he's switching to the next section. But then now from 46 onwards, he requests him to uh, he tells that Daksha is actually influenced by your illusion nature, your Maya. So please be considerate to him like that he's telling before he finally places the request. So what does he say? 46 says, actually devotees who fully dedicated lives unto your lotus feet certainly can see your presence in themselves and everybody around them. In fact, in 11th Canto Srimad Bhagavatam, this is the emphasis Krishna says. Always see that I'm there in every living entity. That way you run your life like that. So now, and that is why they see everybody equally in terms of having a spiritual nature and everybody as a resident, as a temple of the Supreme Lord as Paramatma like that. So when we see like that, as how everybody, Supreme Lord is in everybody's heart, then actually we respect everyone and uh, we take care of everybody nicely. That means we don't mistreat anyone like that. In the purport, Prabhupada also writes that a devotee does not find fault with the behavior in the Lord in any circumstances. That means, generally, now what is the normal tendency? Let us say some suffering came to me, some difficult circumstance came to me, which is not normal, which is not unusual. It keeps coming in Kali Yuga in this material world, right? When the difficult circumstance come, we can go in two broad directions. One direction is, oh my God, I'm doing 16 rounds of chanting, I'm doing this service, I'm doing that service for you. But see, still God is not merciful. Why is He creating trouble in my life? That is one direction we can go. But a devotee who has the faith that Supreme Lord is always merciful and Supreme Lord is my friend, my best well-wisher, Suhrudam Sarvabhutanam, like Bhagavata 5.29 says, then he has some bigger plan for me. I don't know what is the bigger plan. Something good will come out of it. I don't know. But my duty is to take shelter of Krishna through this difficult circumstance so that I can pass through this. It's a temporary phase I need to go through. But Lord Krishna personally sanctioned this because I must have done lot of sinful activity in the past. But he is giving some token reaction to me. In that mode, devotees go through by tolerating the circumstance and continuing sincerely and seriously in devotional service. That's the mood of devotees. That means they're not finding fault. Why did you do this to me? Rather, they understand, I don't understand the reasons myself. But Supreme Lord is omniscient. He understands everything for sure. And is also helping me somehow through this circumstance like that. So that is the point Prabhupada is highlighting in the 46th verse purport. Going to 47th verse. So here he is describing that he's saying, you are so exalted, my dear Lord Shiva. Brahma is speaking to Lord Shiva, right? You are so exalted. There is no need to kill sinful people. As because as per your system, they are already punished. How they are punished? Because of why they are punished? Because they are differentiated vision. They see people differently. They cannot see people are equal spiritual nature. And based on the bad karma they do, they get a reaction anyway. And they also they're mean-minded. So they'll get a reaction anyway for that. And then they envy at other people's prosperity. And They also uh, cause distress to others, not just by actions, by also their harsh and piercing words also. So Providence will already kill them anyway. So, so there's no need for them to be killed by exalted personality like you is saying. That means persons like Daksha who are used to using harsh words, who are used to using bad quality of envy, and who have so much attachment to karma, who cannot see people equally, they're already punished by their karmic reactions and material nature anyway. So, exalted personality like you no, doesn't need to kill him, he's saying. So, purport Prabhupada clarifies this point nicely. He says, Vaishnavas should not try to kill by any action of the body or mind, but should try to revive bhakti of others through compassion. So, even somebody is trying to harm everybody, Vaishnavas, what do? They try to give their ultimate benefit to them. That even such envious people, they try to get them out of Maya by somehow engaging them in Krishna consciousness. How is that possible? By engaging them in some service to Krishna or Vaishnavas. That way, when somebody is, let us say, we encourage them, please come to temple Sunday feast. There's a nice program every Sunday at 4:30. Like that, we encourage them to come. And then we tell them, oh, would you like to this seva at the temple? It will be very nice because Krishna will be pleased with the seva like that. Because everybody is not ready to chant right away. Everybody is not ready to take up devotion service as sadhaka. So we encourage them to do some service at the temple, either to deities or to Vaishnavas, like that. Then that way they'll get benefited and they'll move to sadhaka stage like that. So, uh, Prabhupada also balances that same thing. So on one side, Prabhupada is saying that Vaishnava is merciful and tries to elevate them in Krishna consciousness by not punishing them. On the other side, he says, if somebody blasphemes the Supreme Lord or his devotees, Vaishnava does not tolerate. But if somebody blames him personally, somebody uh, insults myself personally, then I should tolerate. But if somebody blaspheming other Vaishnavas or Supreme Lord, then they don't tolerate. What does it mean by they don't tolerate? We already heard from nice devotees in the last few classes. One is we can argue and convince them that they did a bad thing and they can apologize. Second thing is, if you don't have that capacity, we at least leave that place and not hear the criticism from them like that. That's what we can learn from 47th verse. And going to the 40th verse, here is glorifying how the sadhus like you are very compassionate to the materialists because materialists are bewildered by your maya and sometimes they commit offenses to you. Say, sometimes they commit offenses. But saintly persons, sadhus like you, being compassionate, you do not take that seriously and you don't show your prowess on the offenders because anyway karma will take care of them by giving bad reactions to whatever they're doing. Like that he describes in 40th verse. So the point is sometimes some devotees are consumed. Oh, we need to do justice. He does this bad thing. Let me teach this lesson to him. He needs to be taught lesson. How dare he does this bad act like this? I need to punish him severely so that he doesn't do this bad action again. So we don't have to take such a stand as Vaishnavas, Prabhupada is talking about. And Daksha is also talking about. Because Supreme Lord is watching and under the control of material nature, they will get reactions badly for sure. We don't have to teach them lesson always. That doesn't mean if some person is has a responsibility as a leader, he doesn't need to take action and tell them what is the right thing to do. If suppose, let us say, we're a parent and one child is causing harm to another child, we need to teach them what is good manners, what is the right thing to do. That's absolutely to be done. And suppose somebody is a leader, under him there is some bad thing is happening. They are meant to tell them what is right, what is wrong, so that that person learns it for next time, and others also learn what is the right thing. But just because But we don't go into this justice spree. Okay, I will watch out. This is wrong. I will not the leader for the whole world that I will be watching out everybody and then giving what is the punishment like that. But instead, I understand karma will take care. So Krishna will take care. But I am not fixed on giving punishment like that. But I will do the right thing, what is needed at that time, but not in the mood of taking revenge, not in the mood of giving judgment in that attitude like that. Yesterday, in one of the session, Chaitanya Charan Prabhu was also telling, sometimes we go into this self-righteous spirit. What is the self-righteous spirit? That because he has done a wrong thing, I can punish him severely. Doesn't matter whatever I do, it's justified because he has done a wrong thing. So that's a mode we should be careful about, Chaitanya Charan Prabhu was describing. Because sometimes we go into such a mode, let us say somebody has done one small mistake, a small wrong activity, then we don't have a right to do something very, very big punishment for them. So that time we can consider, let us say, same wrong activity somebody else has done. Will it give the same severe punishment or will it give a smaller punishment? Like that, when somebody can consider, even if he's a leader. Because sometimes one person doing a wrong thing might rub off in a wrong way for us because we have some bad experience for them already. So we should be careful, and the punishment should be always be appropriate to the activity that is done, wrong activity that is done. So that we need to be very careful. For example, even if a children does a small mistake, we don't give a big punishment to them. That is inappropriate. Even in psychological level, that is considered a wrong thing to do. That causes a trauma for children when they don't see that punishment is not appropriate to the wrong activity that they did like that. That's one other angle we should be careful not to become self-righteous like that. So that we can guard against it by asking ourselves, if somebody else does the same mistake, will I give the same severe punishment or will I give a smaller punishment? Then we come to our senses and do the appropriate thing. So now going to the 49th verse. So he's saying, you were in the previous verse he said, ordinary materialists are bewildered by Maya, but sadhus like you are never bewildered by Maya. That's how he's glorifying. So that is why, because you're not bewildered by Maya, you should be merciful and you should be compassionate towards those ordinary souls who are bewildered by Maya and who are so much attached to fruitive activities. So, in a sense, in the last few verses, Brahma glorified Lord Shiva simultaneously, and he said, Daksha is influenced by Maya, that's why he acted the way he acted. But you are so exalted, you are a Vaishnava. So show compassion on him, understanding that material nature will teach him the lessons properly, understanding that Varnashram system should go forward. So please consider this. Like that is pleading so far. Now he's come to the actual point, which is the final request. What does he want from him? He's placing the request before him finally. What is he saying? My dear Lord Shiva, actually you are a Devata. You are also meant to get a portion of the sacrifice from the yagna. But Daksha did not give you the portion of sacrifice. And you normally take a portion of sacrifice and you give the result to the person who is doing sacrifice. But in this case, the priest did a mistake. See, he says bad priest. Bad priest made a mistake that they did not give you your share. And that's why you destroyed everything. That, but now the sacrifice remains unfinished. Sacrifice is not continuing now. So now, if you do the needful thing, then sacrifice can continue, and you can also get your rightful share. So he's encouraging him to do something so that sacrifice can continue. What is that something? He'll elaborate in the next verses. He's saying, my dear Lord, by your mercy, Daksha may get back his life. So he's giving a specific request. Until now, he pleaded generically how we should show compassion to Daksha, how we should let the sacrifice continue, how we should let the Varnashram system continue. Like that, he pleaded now, so far. Now he's going very, very specific, direct request. He's saying, can you please get Daksha's life back? And can you please get back Bhaga's eyes? Because Lord Shiva's followers took out the eyes of Bhaga. And then Lord Shiva's followers took out the mustache of Bhrigu. And they broke the Pusha's teeth. Can you restore all these people's respective organs that are gone now? Can you please do that? Like that is requesting. Lord Brahma is requesting Lord Shiva on the behalf of all the devatas, all the sages, like that. You notice Brahma is taking the leadership position and teaching them how to glorify personality, how to seek forgiveness for personality, and how to seek favor of a higher personality, like that. So, not that, oh, you did a mistake, you go and you take care of yourself. I don't know anything. You messed up, you fix it. Not like that. Lord Shiva is taking a leadership role and assisting them with personal example. And then in 52, he says, so not only you revive Daksha, not only you take care of these few other sages, also several devatas and several P's, their limbs were broken by the soldiers, by your soldiers. So by your grace, please recover their injuries also, he saying. Now, the final verse of this chapter, he says, O destroyer of sacrifice, please take your portion of the sacrifice and let the sacrifice be completed by your grace. So it's not only asking him to recover all the demigods and devatas and sages and everybody, including Daksha, but is also asking, please bless us so that the yajna can continue further. And when yajna continues further, we'll ensure that you get your portion of share also. So you can take your portion of sacrifice also, he's saying like that. So this is the final verse for today. I'll point out a couple of things in the purport Prabhupada talks about, which is very important, that culminating this whole chapter. So Prabhupada talks about one principle which he repeated earlier in purports, same here also he repeats, because every activity we do, we need to check. Am I trying to please Supreme Lord? Is this pleasing to Supreme Lord? Is this pleasing to my Guru? Like that, we need to check our activities. That's one principle Prabhupada re-emphasizes in this purport. So, second thing he says is, if somebody is trying to enjoy already, always material activities, they should see, they should also perform a yajna or sacrifice. Otherwise, they will be implicated with lots of suffering. So, to keep the balance of the society in terms of peace and prosperity, so intelligent people should perform the Sankirtan Yajna by chanting the holy names Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Prabhupada is requesting, advising, encouraging us to not only chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra ourselves, but is encouraging us to arrange programs and invite others so they can also chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and they can also accept prasada. That means we should distribute prasadam and give opportunity for others to hear Krishna Katha and others to chant the holy name also. That way, this Sankirtan will not only satisfy Supreme Lord, because demigods or devatas are his assistants, it will satisfy the devatas also, and everybody can be peaceful and world can be prosperous. Like that, Prabhupada is encouraging. Then in this age, the simple yajna that we can all do is the chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and that way will please Krishna and it will please everyone, like that. So today, the best purport to read for all of us is this last verse purport that encourages us how we can chant and how we should give facility for others to chant. This is text number 53. Okay. So we'll continue next class. Unless anybody has any comments or questions, we can share also. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Sri Prabhupada ki jai. Vanche kalpatarubhyascha कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.